come with me today as I work my 3 geldings. This one here's name is Doc. My sorrel is Cruz. This bay roan is Oakley. So here I'm going around, I'm brushing them all out, making sure there's nothing that's going to poke them or anything. And then I sprayed them with fly spray. Then I'm running around getting them all tacked up. I'm going to get all 3 of them tacked up with a saddle. And I'm going to leave their halters on until I work them. Then I'll put their bridle on and vice versa. We'll just go around. Here is Cruz, got his pads on, throw the saddle on, walk him and Oakley down there. And I'll come back for Doc. I don't know what I'm saying here. But
Cruz down there.
Yeah. Doc and Oakley don't get along very well, so the challenge of having 2 geldings that don't get along very well tied up to my round pen was a little tricky. Cruz and Oakley have been here longer than Doc. I picked Doc up this spring, and he isn't meshing with the rest very well. Plus, he has a bad hoof, so I'm trying to train him, work him, keep him tuned up, but not hurt his foot. And by doing that, I haven't really let him be out with the other horses so they don't run him around. And so him and Oakley haven't had their chances to get that out of the way, and Doc doesn't stand tied very good at all. So having him tied to the round pen with the other 2 was very tricky. I ended up having to tie him to an old snowmobile that I have down there. You'll see that in a little bit. He also knocked one of my saddles off the hitching post here because he just can't stand still when he's tied. I'm sure that's how he hurt his foot. Originally, it was probably pawing at something and got into a wreck. So now we made it down to the round pen. I showed you Cruz and Oakley over there. I got Doc here in the round pen. And I'm just going to lunge him around to see how his foot's doing. I just broke up the ground in this round pen, so it's pretty rough. It's a lot softer than it was. It was basically concrete. But I need to get a tiller in here and really till those clumps up. Because, I mean, it's hard for me even to walk across there. So I'm just trying to get Doc going. Kind of smacking the ground behind him. There he starts trotting a little bit. And I'm getting a little excited going this way. I can see that he's being pretty smooth. So I keep him going. And he's doing exactly what I'm asking for. So I think I go about another round and then I'll stop him. Yep, stop him right there. Get him to face up with me. I go up and pet his head a little bit. It's not quite the non-pressure that a colt needs, but he knows that a pet is a reward at this point. He's 17 years old. I bought him being told he was 11. I got their teeth floated this day. Actually, that is why I started working them, so they'd be in tip-top behavior when I took them to get their teeth floated. And I bought Doc being told he was 11, and turns out he's 17. So here I'm lunging him the opposite way. And right away, I can see that hoof is bothering him. He's kind of dropping that front left shoulder. And so I stop him, and that'll be the end of the training session for him. Besides being tied, we'll work on that a little bit. So I still stop him, give him a reward, kind of pat him on the forehead there, let him know he did what I asked. It's not his fault that he's hurting. Well, I don't know what originally caused the injury. I didn't own him then, but he did probably cause it himself. So I brought Cruz in because I had Doc. I couldn't tie Doc up over by Oakley. He's on the other side of the round pen. So I put Doc over where Cruz was, and then they were too close together. It probably would have been fine. I just didn't want to wreck today. So Cruz, I bought him last July, and I was told that he was 10 years old, and he was very skinny, very broke, has lots of go in him. So we went and got him Coggins tested and all the stuff at the vet, and the vets aged him around 13. So I wasn't too upset with that from 10 to 13, is what it is on a grade horse. But this day I took him to the person that floats teeth, and they think he's about 20 given his teeth. So I have been looking at teeth to age a horse a little wrong. I always looked at all the teeth, and really just the front side ones for looking at the groove anyways is what you need to look at. The front ones with the groove doesn't tell you as much as the side ones do. His side ones are only at like a 10-year-old horse, or his middle ones. His side ones are at like a 20-year-old horse. Then there was other things I told the person that floated his teeth that he was older. I kind of forgot them. But what I was getting at here is he doesn't lunge very well at all. And while I'm working him, Doc quickly realized that he wasn't tied hard and he was just wrapped around the fence like I just did there to Cruz. So if they do set back, it'll loosen. There is some resistance, but not enough for Doc. He kind of bops his head, and realizes he gets more slack, and then he's just off to the grass. So I bring him back in, and it's hard to train on him to stand when I can't move his feet. Usually if a horse doesn't want to stand, you move their feet till they do want to stand. And with him having a bad hoof, I'm not exactly sure what to do about that. So if any of you know a good way to teach a horse to stand, ground tie, without lunging them around, please let me know. I could definitely use it with him. Here I ground tie him and he stands the whole time, of course. So I go over to work with Cruz and immediately he starts to walk away. So I give him the whoa, and then I come over and I back him up and let him know I want him to be standing right there. And I walk away again. And I don't really know what else to do, so I'm going to start working with Cruz. And eventually I'll figure out that I can tie him inside the round pen and not have a big issue. So here I bring Cruz around. Still kind of trying to let Doc know I want him to stand there. I don't want him to move. I don't even want him to turn like that. I just want him to be tied and stay where I put him. So turns out Cruz is 20 years old and I thought he was 10. But I'm still having a hard time with that, even though teeth is the best way to age a horse. He does not act like a 20-year-old horse at all. I mean, he's got all the go in the world. Sometimes, like today, I'm out here mostly going to work with him on a rope, the lasso, and things like that usually don't bother a 20-year-old horse, and it still does kind of bother him. So, I don't know. Some things make sense with him being 20, like it's hard to keep weight on. But honestly, I just wonder if it's what he's ate his whole life. These two horses came from the res. Not saying anything bad against that, but their choice of food there might be different. As you can see there, Doc stands at 16-1 hands, and Cruz is a 14-3 hand horse. He's very petite. He's got a smaller head. And Doc is not very petite. He's very tall, very skinny with a long head. And then here, Oakley, you can see over behind me. There you go. He's pawing, and he went to set back, which would have probably been a pretty big wreck because this round pen, even though these are steel panels, they are not anchored into the ground at all. So I'm really glad we didn't tie him hard there and just wrapped him. He quickly realized he was fine and stopped setting back. But him and Doc were wanting to face off. And Doc did pretty good there. He stood there, let all that happen. He hasn't been trying to get loose too much with just a little bit of correction I gave him. He's not standing dead tied like I like. I like them just to hang their head and be able to stand there all day long. But Doc just isn't one of those horses. And he's 17, so it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks, especially when you can't move their feet. Oakley, he ground ties really well. Cruz doesn't ground tie, but he stands anywhere you tie him amazingly. He just goes to sleep. So, I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe cut this part out, but I'm getting ready to work with Cruz and the rope. I'm trying to desensitize Cruz to the rope. That way, if I take him to a branding or something, it's no big deal. So I use this tub as my roping dummy, and that way I don't have to get off the horse to slip the rope off of the tub. I can just pull it or give it some slack and it slides right off. At this point in time, I still think Cruz is a 13-year-old horse, so I'm kind of treating him as such, letting him, get away with certain things that a 20-year-old horse shouldn't get away with. So right now I'm just explaining what I'm going to do with Cruz, I believe, and just kind of what's going on with the whole situation in the bucket. So then I get the rope off, and I know what I was explaining, that kind of with desensitizing, you don't want to scare them right off the bat. You want to kind of let them get used to things and then gradually work your way up. That way you're not scaring the horse of what you're trying to desensitize them to. A lot of people will just throw the tarp over them and let them bucket out until they're done. I would rather, show them the tarp, carefully move the tarp around, and then just gradually get bigger. Then you can start whipping it around, once they get used to it. And that's what I'm saying here. I was demonstrating that people like to do the whoa, whoa. And I was trying to work my way up to it. Obviously I did too much because of what I was trying to demonstrate. Point being is, with the rope, what I'm trying to do is get him comfortable with it and then gradually work up to less comfortable things, like it going over his butt, under his tail. It didn't hurt me on my neck. Maybe it's not going to hurt me under my tail. And if it does, maybe I'll just keep doing it until he gets okay with it. It's like somebody sticking a rope in your butt crack. You're not going to like it, but if you're told it's, not going to hurt you over and over, and you see it's not going to hurt you, and it stops when you don't react, then you're not going to react. So here I'm just throwing the rope around while I'm on the ground. That way he can see it, see what I'm trying to do with it, hear it. Ropes make scary noises. When you slide the Honda up and down the rope, it makes a noise. When you whip the rope around your head, it makes a noise. And when it smacks the bucket, it makes a noise. So here, Cruz decides he's going to walk over and get comfort from Doc. He did turn and face me again, but still, it is what it is. It could be worse, but so here I'm like, well, then we're going to step it up, and I'm going to throw the rope at you. And I'm doing it in a way that it's not going to hurt the horse. I'm not smacking it across his nose or whipping him on the butt. I'm just tossing the rope up on there, letting it smack the saddle. Maybe grab the saddle with it, rope the saddle, pull on him, let him feel some tension. Things like that. I'm just getting him warmed up, and Oakley's seeing what's going on. He's hearing the rope. Doc's hearing the rope. Everybody's hearing the rope. Here I'm just doing goofy things, trying to learn how to rope myself. So I see those buckaroo videos or cow pen roping videos where they're throwing the cool fancy shots. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to those. I can hardly throw a rope normal. So This is a little practice for me as well. I haven't roped very many animals off of a horse, not enough to really even say I ever have. But we're all learning together. Even though these are older horses, we're all between 17 and 20 apparently. Still can't get my mind wrapped around that. But it is what it is. Cruz was a cheaper horse, and whether he be 10 years old or 20 years old, he's a good horse for what he is. So Doc, on the other hand, I was a little upset that his hoof gives him a lot more problems than I was told to believe. And I paid a lot more money for Doc, knowing, but Doc is a lot more of a horse. If he didn't have that hoof problem, he would be more than worth what I paid for him. But that being said, I still got gypped and lied to. So it is what it is. I just won't be buying horses from there ever again. And it's a learning curve. If you buy grade horses, really know what you're looking for. Otherwise, just buy a registered horse. You know exactly what you're getting then. So here I'm taking the halter off Cruz. I'm going to put his bridle on and start riding him and roping. Might try and speed up the rest of this so you don't got to watch as much of the boring stuff. Okay, we kicked this up to 5x speed. Hopefully we can track and keep a voiceover going here. So I'm cinching Cruz up, got his bit and bridle on, head stall. I have a new thing with Cruz. Every time I get on, I try and back him up and flex him. It stretches his back and works muscles that he really needs to work. He's not good at flexing, but we're working on it. And he's not the best at backing up either, so we're working on that as well. So here I rope the bucket, and I just drag it around a little bit. Rope slips off. Go again, stand up, rope the bucket. So here I walk Cruz into it so he can bump the bucket back up. And that's all good for him. That's all a little bit of desensitization. I'm swinging the rope off camera. Oh, Carly's there with Jasper. She had to go rescue her brother's package from their dog. And here I'm just working with Doc a little bit. Tossing the rope over him. The rope really doesn't bother Doc at all. So Cruz is kind of the main focus with the rope and just me practicing building a loop and how to swing it and how to swing it around a horse and control the horse while I swing it. All good stuff to learn. Here I'm pretty close to the bucket. Cruz kind of whips his head. We rope the bucket. We drag it around a little bit and kind of makes some noise. Flips over behind him. None of that really bothers him. 2 days ago, sounds good. He didn't jump. He had his ears pinned the whole time, and anytime something flipped around him, he was not having it. So that was good. I was happy. So I got off of him. That was his release. All right, we got Oakley Took his bridle off, not much of a loosened either, his saddle, and tied him up back outside. So then I pull Oakley in. Oakley is my wife's main horse, and he's very broke, but he's been out to pasture for pretty much the whole last year while she was pregnant with their boy. I'm trying to lunge Oakley around here a little bit. He also is not a lunger. I don't know. We're not horse trainers. We buy trained horses and then just kind of try and keep them tuned up while we own them, So This video is just a vlog style video, I guess, of me working with our 3 horses, what I kind of do with them. Started doing with them. This is the first time I ever tried to work 3 horses at once. Really, I've only been doing this with Cruz, and my wife liked what she saw, so she's like, hey, can you do that with my horse too? I was like, sure. And I was like, well, if I got 2 horses, I might as well have 3 horses. And yeah, so I put Doc back outside the round pen while we have Oakley in here because, like I said, these 2 don't get along very well. And Doc still wasn't standing out there, so here in a little bit I have to go get him. And then I'll end up tying him to that snowmobile you see over there. So I'm just kind of testing out how Oakley's going to be today. I've already got his full attention pretty much. He's watching me, watching what I'm doing. The rope's not scaring him too much, so I step it up right away. I rope the saddle, and it kind of gets him to jump, a little bit of a reaction, but you can see he's thinking it through pretty quickly. No big reactions. Can't ask for a lot more, so then I do a little jump rope. Try not to get his nose. He just looks back and sees what's going on, and it's like, yeah, dude, I've been there, done that. Don't really need to do this with me. Can I go back out to the pasture if you're not going to use me? But it's good for him anyways. Just some horses, you know, they get a little rusty. They forget that a rope's not going to hurt them, or the sound of a rope isn't going to hurt them, or, you know, maybe they're not as soft as they once were. A little bit of round pin work can really help with that. You can just kind of focus on the basics in here. So here I step it up again. I put the rope around his front foot, and I just kind of have him give to the pressure. Let him walk with it here. So I just hold a little bit of pressure until he takes a step, and then I let off. Hold a little bit of pressure, steps, let it off. Just kind of teaches them, if they do get something around their legs, not to panic. Give to the pressure, and that's all you need to do. Someone will come save you. So he did exactly what I wanted, so I walk up, I take the rope off. Ideally, when you do this, you'd want to do it to both front legs, both back legs. Everything you do to a horse on one side, you should do to a horse on another side. Both sides. When a horse is using the reactive side of their brain, then you want to move their feet more to get them more into a thinking state of mind than a reactive state of mind. But right off the bat, these horses aren't being very reactive, so I just keep moving along with the desensitizing. Here on the back leg, Oakley's not really stepping forward, but he's picking his leg up and giving to the pressure and not blowing up. So I call that good as well, and we just move on to the next thing. Take the rope off. I wish I could have voiceover plus my sound of the video, but I haven't quite figured that out. Well, actually, here, hold on. Pause, pop. Well, I'm not a good editor. I can't get the sound to shut off on some parts of the video and not other parts of the video. So this whole video is going to be a voiceover. I'm sorry. Bear with me if you don't like it. It is what it is, I guess. I'm working on it. If you guys have stayed this long, I appreciate it. If not, that's all right. I know horse training videos can get kind of boring and long-winded. This one exceptionally, but if you want to learn very basics from someone that is learning the basics, then stay tuned and ride this out with me. So Oakley did good with all that ground stuff. I'm just going to put his head stall and bit on, and we're going to start practicing stuff from his back. is a really good horse and one of the horses that will never leave the ranch. He was $800 when my wife bought him. He's got a little bit of a ring bone on his back leg that doesn't bother him at all. And he's the best horse we have, I would say. Not the fastest horse. Doc and Cruz are, they're fast horses, but Oakley here, he's a stout, good-looking, very broke, kid safe,
On Oakley here and see if he'll flex.
do-it-all kind of horse. I've put the pack saddles on him. He's drug calves. He's pushed cows, trail rides. He does it all. He's been a great horse for my wife. And me. I started riding him when I first met my wife, and she would ride a horse that we were leasing at the time. So here I bring in our other roping dummy. My wife made this back in the day. But the problem with roping it is I can't get the rope off every time from the back of a horse. I do like the back legs because, to rope a steer's back legs, it's got to be moving, but I can practice setting up the trap, which is pretty nice. It's a little small for that, I think, but it works good. So I'm just cinching Oakley up, getting him all ready. I do take my time when I do this stuff. I don't want to pinch the horse or make them cinchy at all.
Doc is already calm
Yeah,
down.
I'm really taking my time. There we go. Oh, it's because it's never used this saddle on him before, so he was almost a little too thick for my latigo and everything. Here I go. I climb on up, rip my pants. Oakley's about a 15-hand horse. I think he's 18 years old. We just had his teeth floated the other day when I got Doc and Cruz's teeth floated, and his needed it pretty bad, so that's good that he's got that done now and up to date anyways. He'll need some maintenance on it, but so same thing with him as the rest of them. When I get on, my new thing is to back them up right away. So instead of going forward, I want them to back up. It just encourages them to stand still a little bit when I do get on because they don't like to back up. So here I try trotting him around, and he's got kind of not sensitive feet, but he's definitely more sensitive about what he does on his feet.
They're bare feet.
So he's not really one to trot around in the round pen too much because the ground is all big, hard clumps of dirt right now. Like I said, I need to get a tiller in there and should till up pretty easily now that I've got it all broke up. We do get him going a little bit there. I'm also, like I said, I'm new to all this, so I'm learning how to ride a trot and how to post and all that as well. So here I'm trying to get Oakley to flex, kind of sticking my boot out there for him, letting him know, hey, put your nose over towards that, and I'm going to let go of you. And just backing him up. Popping the rope loose. And we're just going to get right after it because Oakley is an old broke horse. Not old, but older. Still can't believe Cruz is 20. If you can't tell by now, it bothers me a little bit that I was told he was 10. We actually thought he was 10, and turns out he's 20. So like I did there, I swung the rope around on his head a little bit, acted like I was going to throw it. It didn't bother him at all. So here I am just kind of touching him all over, swinging it around his cinch area, through his front legs, around his butt, over and under, and anywhere I can think of and get it without whipping him with it. So went for the bucket. Think I missed. Surprise, surprise.
Like, what the heck was that?
My wife's probably giving me crap right here for missing
I meant
a
Oakley.
bucket,
Not impressed
a non-moving stationary object 2 feet away. There, I got it. Bigger loop. Let it fall over the bucket and you got her. Then I'm just I popped it out from underneath the bucket, thinking maybe that would alert him, but he does good. And as you can see in the back there, Doc is tied to the
trying to move the whole time.
snowmobile, and it's not a very ideal place to tie him, but there's 2 of us there, and he was somewhat behaving enough that we weren't too worried about it. I would not do that with a younger horse, or if he was showing more signs of being a problem, I would have had to find a different solution. But you can see right there in the back how he whipped his head. He was checking to see if that rope was tied or not. And I'm talking about Doc, not Oakley. But there we go. I roped the steer and can't get the rope off and ended up knocking it over.
Now we are.
So then I had to get off and get it back. Here I'm just trying to do some silly things. Oh, that was on purpose. Just trying to desensitize him a little bit. Don't have him blow up. He jumped, but a jump reaction is totally understandable. You know, I jump when people jump and scare me, so I don't expect my horses to stand like statues. I want them to be somewhat alert, but to realize quickly that all I did was trip and he was fine. He didn't even move his feet, so that was perfect. Same thing here. I'm just testing him, letting him know this rope ain't gonna hurt him. And it's all working out good. Here I'm getting a little wild with it, and I think he actually kind of backed into it a bit there. But still, them front feet hardly moved, so that's good. Same thing, I'm just whipping the rope around, kind of getting close to his face now, keeping his attention on me, and none of this is bugging him, which is perfect. But if you got a younger horse that this would bother, or an older horse that this would bother, or a horse that this would bother in general, is what I'm saying. This is kind of what I would think you should do with them, especially from some videos that I've watched and just kind of things that I have done. Seems to work. It's worked with Cruz. He was pretty jumpy, and now it really doesn't bother him at all. So I just get back on Oakley here and keep working with him. Keep practicing with myself. Yeah, smacking the rope on him. Then try and get him to trot around again like I was before. Pretty much same result. He'll step it up a little bit, but he just doesn't want to go that bad. What I should have been doing here is working on keeping him soft. Either just trying to ride him with my legs or be as soft as I can with my hands and just ride him around. But instead I'm trying to lope him on something he doesn't want to lope on. It's pretty understandable. So here I think I'm just setting myself up to start practicing again. Oh, Actually, what I was trying to do here is get him to side pass. And according to my wife, I was trying to do it incorrectly, which she's probably right. Like I said, this is also just as much practice for me as it is the horses. I'm pretty dang new to riding. And so take that with how you want to watch this video. If you want to watch this video as just a new guy saying what he's doing and how he's practicing, perfect. If you can take something from this video and learn something yourself, perfect, but just know that I am no expert. I am just going off of things that I have taught myself or watched online or had someone tell me and trying to put it to use. The roping the bucket thing works really good though for practice. I feel like you can, if you get it around the middle, you can drag it around. The horse hears something dragging back there. There's not a lot of weight, so you're not really gonna hurt anything. If you need to, you can let go of it easily. If you want to you can flip the bucket over and pull your rope off pretty easily without getting off the horse. Very safe. So here I try a heel shot on the dummy. It wasn't absolutely perfect, but it was probably would have caught a calf, at least one leg. The heel shot, for you watchers that don't know, you try and kind of get the rope in there sideways, in front of the back legs, kind of makes an ovalish loop, and then when the calf steps, he'll step into that loop, and you raise your rope up and drag the calf to the fire, or if you're team roping, you would pull tight and back your horse up, and you'd have the steer caught because your header would have already caught the head at that point. And right here I went for a front head shot on the dummy, and once again can't get the rope off. So I think what I do here, actually, instead of getting off Oakley, is I pick the whole dummy up and try and get my rope off that way. And in the process of doing that, I did get a little bit of a reaction out of Oakley, which is what I'm trying to do this whole time. Just kind of see what... right here, I'm trying to get him to side pass over to the dummy so I can get closer. But he's like, dude, I don't know what you want, so I'm just going to stand here. And the correct thing to do, if I knew that I was doing what I wanted correctly, is to keep doing it until you get the results you want. But I didn't know if I was doing it correctly, so I just stopped and I went for this instead. And then I got this reaction from Oakley, so it was kind of a win-win. Got him a little desensitized to someone picking up something off the side of him. Which doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes you do need to do it. And you don't want your horse to blow up when you do it. There, I think I was just saying it's getting pretty warm out. I wish I could have both the audio and voiceover. I know you can, but I couldn't get it to not do it on some clips and do it on some other clips. I should stop the video and go back and see if I can do it. Okay, I was able to go back in the video and change it so I have a voiceover and normal video sound. And I tried to speed up some things and slow other things down, and oh man, I got myself into a mess there. So hopefully this video is still watchable. From here on, I think I might speed it up and just do a voiceover. I don't know. We'll have to see. bear with me. I'm very new to this long video editing, and it is very easy to get lost in where you're at and keep it watchable without being too boring. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the voiceover now, and we're gonna kind of see if I have some good things to say or not, and then maybe just add a voiceover here and there, plus maybe some music. So if you're still in the video, don't give up yet.
It's a big old loop. Oh, and I missed. Big loop's not always the answer.
Put Cruz's bridle back on for me. Is this recording? Think I can do a reverse?
You make this too easy, Oakley.
Won't get short on the steer. You're good, okay. I'm gonna switch back to Cruz. I just dropped my ring.
but this flag right here, it don't fall. It's been through hell, storms and all, still waves high, still stands tall. Fire in my chest, stars on my sleeve, freedom don't flinch and it don't leave. Blood in the dirt, boots on the line, every stripe's earned, every star shines. Ain't just fab, it's the soul of the fight. From Bunker Hill to Afghan nights, you can talk down, you can protest, but we still rise. God, country, and the rest. This flag don't fall, don't